What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Transformation Chamber. I am your host, Ronald, and today I wanted to talk about watching how you talk to yourself. That's very important. A lot of times, some people may hear me say, I talk to myself a lot. And then what I really mean by that is I do like self-check systems. I'm constantly talking to my inner self to figure out, what is the best plan of action? Is it with, are we at one? Are we at peace or whatnot? Because you can easily find yourself slipping or veering into another lane, doing something you're not supposed to be doing. So some people may call it, do whatever your heart tells you to do. But for me, staying in tune with my inner beat, with my inner me, keeps me in check. I could have said something and maybe or did something, and I may feel like, I probably need to apologize for that. Like, I was kind of being a prick back there, or whatever the case may be. So, we gotta watch, how we should watch the things we say to ourselves. And by inner being, I mean, you know, I can say something verbally right now, or I can just keep my mouth shut and I can just, say it without speaking it, and you'll hear your own voice, inside your head. So, that's what I mean by the inner you. But sometimes we have this great idea. We have this great idea, or we're gonna do something new, and we may tell you may say to yourself, I'm not gonna tell anybody else because they're gonna be negative about it. They're not gonna have anything good to say about it. But sometimes you could find yourself talking yourself out of something. You can have that next big tech idea, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like, this is nobody's doing this right now. And then the work gets a little harder. And you wrote down all your goals. You got everything step by step by step. You wrote down everything. And then, it gets the road gets a little rough. So then you start telling yourself, like, well, maybe I'm charging too much. It like talking to yourself, maybe I'm charging too much, or maybe it's not such a good idea. You talking yourself out of something great. You know, you have to watch what you speak over yourself, and you also got to watch what people speak over you too. So I'm very aware of that. Like, if I'm around company or whoever, and they have like a lot of negative things to say, or like even if they're not speaking to me, they can just be speaking to another individual, and that they just like talking behind their back or dogging them out. I typically won't hang around that person anymore. And not saying that, I'm just saying this, that person's not for me. Because if you talk about that person behind their back, you'll talk about me behind my back. And the difference is, if you're talking about somebody behind their back that, they just weren't there, and you could tell them to their face, that's different. Because I may have to say something about that person, but that person is just not there that day. But when I see him, it's just more like, hey, you did this. I didn't like when you did that. It made me feel like this. But in the moment, I may have spoke to somebody else about it. So it doesn't make me 100% right, but I have feelings, and I may have wanted, like, I may have wanted to vent my feelings to somebody else, and they may feel like, what's going on with you? Why do you feel away? It's like, oh, this person did this, and I didn't feel away, and I think that was some sucker stuff to do. So, when I see that, I that's a red flag for me, because I've been around people who always speak positive over you. Especially like when I was doing Bible study back when I was living in Fort Lauderdale. And you would see somebody be like, oh man, brother, I'm so happy things are going good for you. Or they're asking you, what are you working on? And I'm working on this new thing or whatnot. Man, that's gonna work out so great for you. That, like, I can't wait to see, like, when you get it up and running, let me know so I can be your first customer. You have people like that to speak good things over you. But sometimes we as people, we talk ourselves out of these great ideas because they're not happening when we want them to happen. They're not. We have to put in so much work, day and night, because you may be working a full-time job and come home at night and then working your idea, to like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you get a little tired, and maybe you had to work a double the next day, and you're like, dang, like, is this idea really worth it? Or you start taking away your value, you start, like I said, you'll say things to yourself like, maybe I shouldn't charge so much, or maybe this is not going to work, or maybe you start talking yourself out of that game plan that you wrote down. You sat down and wrote your game plan down. You wrote all your goals out, but because it's not going the way you thought up here, because and by it taking so long, your mind will start to pull detours, because you got to stay focused. You got to, like, you can have a bad week and it can make you lose focus, but you got to do your best to stay focused on the path ahead of you, because you could sell a lot right now, and then you can maybe you just started and then you selling $15,000 worth of merchandise, whatever you're selling in the first month, and in the next month, you know, you bone dry. How do you deal with that? You know, you're gonna feel away. So you need the ups and downs. But when you're down, when you're in that limbo, or you just kind of like you're not where you were the last month, you got to start talking that positive stuff over yourself. You know, take that time to listen to more podcasts, to watch more YouTube posts, to read more books about it. Take more time to meditate on it, to pray on it, to talk to God about it, you know, and then take more time to yourself. Go on those nature walks and, you know, figure and find those good things to say about yourself, because there's times I make a video and then, you know, I don't get like a lot of views, or I may get a lot of views and no likes or no comments. But, you know, I don't let myself get sucked into that world, because if I make a video, if I'm doing something, whatever I do, if I do it, it's out of the goodness of my heart. So if I'm making if you guys are seeing this video, I'm talking about something that most likely I went through. You know, I think we've all tried to talk ourselves out of something at some point in our life. But, you know, I'll make these videos, and if nobody gets a, you know, if I make the next 10 videos and nobody views them and nobody hits the subscribe button or the thumbs up button, you know, I'm not going to stop doing it just because I can't see the recognition that is, you know, I can't see the physical recognition of what I'm doing. Because sometimes you don't know, some people may like I said, even let's take the views out of it. Some people may view it and not say anything, not hit the thumbs up. But some of those people are actually counting on you. They're counting on you to make those daily videos, talk about those daily affirmations, and maybe they're on their way to work and they never really have time to hit that like button or that heart button if you're on Instagram, whatever platform you're on. And, you know, sometimes I used to be like that. Like, I would never hit the like button, or I would hit the like button, but I would never share a comment. I would never post a comment. It could be a dope talk. It could be something that spoke to me, like directly to my heart, for something I was going through like right now. I would never hit that. I would never text a person, appreciate that, you know, appreciate the message, bro, just because it wasn't in me, you know. But we can't stop what we're doing just because we're not getting the recognition we thought we were going to get right away. When you think you're ready, when you tell yourself, like, you know what, I'm ready now. Sometimes God will put you in a position to where you feel like you're ready, but what you're really doing is you're ready to, he's thickening that skin for you. He's giving you thick skin. So when you do become, like, when your time does come to pass, you have the thick skin to deal with success. A lot of us want to go from having nothing to be successful, and, you know, one, overnight, and then two, we want to go from that, and we think that, oh, you know, I had nothing, so of course I can handle getting a lot of things. That's not true. You got to know how to handle these things. You got to know how to manage these things, because, you know, you can't just get in there and then, you know, when you're putting so much into it, your heart's in it, your feelings are in it. And when you get to that point, you may say something, you may fly off the hanger with somebody, you may, you know, end a relationship with a purveyor, whatever you're doing. You know, it may not be in the best terms. But when you're creating, when that thick skin is being created on you, you know, and inside of you, you have to know how to deal with criticism, constructive criticism. You have to know how to deal with the ups and downs when somebody's trying to cheat you out of a price. You have to know how to sometimes sit on the product because it's not where you want it to be, instead of what I like to call, in terms of reaching, you know, which I did that the other day. Like, I put out some stuff. I put out two things, and one was at work and one was something personal of mine that I was doing. And I found myself putting out, luckily I caught myself, but I put out two things. And then when I look back at it, I'm looking like, what were you thinking? Why would you try to rush something just to have something out there, instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to take my time with this. I'm going to take my time, and then when it's ready, it's ready. Don't rush me. I do my best to never let anybody rush me. Because when you're talking about success, everybody has their own time. Everybody's on a different timeline with it. You know, some people can get it overnight, or what it looks like to be overnight. And some people, you know, it takes them 4 or 5 years to get it, you know. And we even look at people in the music business. You know, I think, well, was not mistaken, John Legend, it took him like 7 years to get on, you know. And he said he got a lot of no's, you know, going into these places, and a lot of people told him no. But you only got to get that one yes. And when you get that one sale, when you get that one client, that leads to the next one and the next one and the next one. But in between those spaces, you'll find yourself sometimes, if you're not careful, talking yourself out of it, saying negative things over it, or not speaking positive affirmations over it. The things you speak over that seed that you planted in the ground, that's the water. So if you speaking something bad on it, you said, I'm not going to pick up this water. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up the poison, and I'm going to pour the poison on the seed. And because that's the way I feel today. I'm sick today, or I'm aggravated today. So I'm just going to pour, or it's not going the way I want it to go. Whatever way it's going. And you just said, I'm going to pour whatever type of liquid on there that's not going to fully fertilize the seed and help it grow, and continue to help it be strong when it's growing. Because you want to plant good seeds in good ground and have, and take care of that plant when it starts to blossom. And that's success. When you get that success, you want it to be what you imagine for how long you imagine it, if not greater. So, when we do this, we can find ourselves talking our way out of something. And for me, like the past couple of days, I found myself arguing with myself because I felt a way about something. And I'm tired because I'm working on a couple of different projects right now. And I'm going to work. I'm dealing with with personalities there. And when I come home, I still got to work on my personal stuff. And I still got to get like regular everyday stuff together. You shopping and cooking and everything like that. I got to get all that stuff. So I'm not going to bed till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I still got to get up early, and then like my inner me is telling me that, well, we got to get this stuff done. And I'm like, kind of explaining like, man, look, I'm tired. I'm working on we doing a lot of stuff. I found myself arguing, going back and forth. And by the back and forth means you trying to justify why you're not doing what your heart is telling you that you should be doing. And you can easily get to that point. You sitting there telling yourself like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this right now because I got this and this going on. And it's your heart telling you, yo, we need to work on this right now. And it's not screaming at you. It's literally telling you like, yo, this is the time to strike the match. This is your time. Like you worked all these hours. You did all this stuff. This is your time. I'm here I set the alarm, and now that the alarm going on for your success, now you want to get upset because you're working on something. Now you want to argue with me. You want to go back and forth with me and give me excuses why you can't stay up even later to read more books, to watch more posts, to work on your project a little bit more. This is your stuff. So, you guys, be aware of that, because every day is not the same day, or every day is not a good day, but every day great can come from it. Good can come from that. So you won't have a good day every day, but you can definitely get good from every day. And it just depends on how you look at it, because at the end of the day, you can choose the road that you want to go down. God will choose the road that you're going down. But in all honesty, a lot of times we have the choice of the terrain of that road. We pick if that road is going to be smooth, if it's going to be rocky, if it's going to be a bunch of potholes and everything. By this, I mean, we could be doing something that we love, but then, maybe it's not going the way we want it to go. We start complaining about it. Like what I was doing. I'm complaining about what I worked for. I'm arguing myself about, I'm tired. I don't want to do this because, whatever reason. And myself is telling me that, yo, we got to get this done, But I started choosing the rocky road, and the road got really rocky. And I made those 2 slip-ups by reaching for something, and putting some stuff, some silly stuff out there that I would have never put out there. And it's already out there now, so it's part of my mistake. And I had to learn from that. Luckily, I caught myself quick. I didn't put out a bunch of stuff. But luckily, I caught myself very quick. And now I can look back at it like, hey, when you feeling like this, sometimes it may be a good thing just to step back real quick. Get into, find a way to move as one. Some people call it like finding your chi or your zen or your oneness, whatever it is you call it. But, you got to be one with yourself. And that's staying true to yourself. Some rappers just say staying true to yourself. Because it's easy to look around and be like, yo, this and this is going well for them. And you start doing what they doing. But they path different from your path. You got to do what you doing. They may be able to sleep and still ace that test. You got to study hard so you can ace that test. Your terrain different from their terrain. Your road different from your road. Your vehicle different from their vehicle. Your road, your path was designed just for you. And when you're going through it, that's the story. Because sometimes, you'll go through life and you'll get to success, but God wants you to have that story behind the success. It's cool, like I said, to get up and be like, yeah, well, I did this and this is a great thing and I became successful. But then what happens when you speak about it in interviews? You want to be able to have a good story, and God will use you as, will use you as a vessel, so that when you're in these interviews and people ask you, like, how did you come up and how did you deal with it? You have such a great and inspiring story. It makes the next 80 people, 100 people, 2,000 people go out there and they feel like, what, if it wasn't for me listening to this YouTube post or listening to this guy on this podcast or, whatever interview you were on, if it wasn't for that, I would have never continued. I would have gave up, so let's be aware of the things we're pouring into our brain over our thoughts. Let's make sure that we got, the good stuff pouring over our thoughts, so we're not talking bad things over it. Remove yourself from people who are not for you in this season. They're not for you. Don't argue with yourself why they were your day one, or they always been down, or that's just how they kid around. No, they're not for you this season. So get them away from you. If you want to explain to them, that's cool. For some people, out of respect, you explain to them for whatever reason. But some people, you may feel like, you're just not for me, so I'm just going to remove myself, because you got a job to do. God gave you a mission. And whatever's in your head, whatever's, in your body that you're moving towards, that greatness that you're pushing towards every night, that you just can't seem to stop doing, that is just like, for whatever reason, I just got to get it done. It just means that much to me. That thing, that's the thing that God wants you to achieve. But you not getting to it is like getting a job and not showing up to work, or showing up late because of whatever your excuse is, but you showing up late. And God is the supervisor or the owner of the company, whatever, and how are you going to explain it to him? So, I just wanted to share that message with you guys today about that. Let's be careful about the things we're speaking over ourselves. Take the time to really, even if it's 5 minutes a day, take that time to really just say good things about yourself, speak great things over yourself, speak great things over your day, speak great things over your health, speak great things over your kids, your family, speak great things over your business, because some people will do it for you, but nobody gonna do it for you like you. And you got, and like I said, he'll send you some people who will help you out and be your crutch sometimes. When you get a little weak and you get a little weary, that's cool, but make the time to speak these good things over yourself, because you may not see results right away. That just means you can't see them in the physical. But on the flip side, everything you're doing that you can't see in the next realm, in that spiritual realm, you could be doing something today and you don't even know on the other side of that, on the spiritual realm, everything is just coming, everybody's just working. You see the angels just working everything for you, God working everything for you, whatnot. And if you could see what they could see, trust me, you wouldn't give up. But it takes a long time for us to see it in the physical, because we can see it in the mental. It just takes a long time for us to see it in the physical and see it the way we want to see it. So I thank you guys for chiming in tonight. If this message was for you, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Like I said before, subscribing and hitting that like button really helps with the algorithm of YouTube. It gets the message out further to people, and even for people who want to start their own platform to speak on the things that I'm speaking on. This channel is called the Transformation Chamber. Just trying to, basically, give people a different way of looking at it, a different angle to look at the same problem that we deal with from day to day. You could say your glass is half full. You could say your glass is half empty. Me personally, I say I'm just blessed to be able to have a glass, and I'm even more blessed to be able to have something in that glass. So thumbs up, subscribe. Let's help get this message to, out there internationally to everyone, as much people as we can. I thank you guys for listening. Enjoy your night. Have a good one.